Welcome to Good Goodbyes, the funeral facts podcast. We are really glad you found us. In this podcast, me, Simon, a funeral director,
And me, Tina, I'm an independent celebrant.
are going to discuss all things funeral in an informal space to demystify what happens when we say goodbye.
Based on your questions and queries, Si and myself are two industry professionals that are going to chat through the hows, whats, and wherefores. We actively work in the funeral industry in Devon in the UK. So, we hope you enjoy the episode ahead. Welcome to Good Goodbyes.
Welcome to Good Goodbyes with me, Simon.
And with Tina, the celebrant. Hello, welcome. Si, what are we talking about today?
So, today's subject is webcasts and recordings of services. And we thought we'd bring this one up because actually there's been quite a bit going around recently about a bit of a scam. People trying to charge mourners and family members to log in and watch a webcast. And that was something we wanted to kind of get on top of because that just is not the case. No crematorium, no funeral director are ever going to charge you to watch the webcast. And we wanted to kind of stamp on that nice and quickly, really.
That's absolutely right. And in most formal crematoria, you will have a facility to record the service, and it can be cast out, or webcast is a phrase used. It can be shared widely with others who might be able to join at the time. But I do believe there's a ceiling to how many people can.
It depends on the system, and there are lots of different systems running in different crematoria, from Obitus to Wesley and things like that. It's ultimately on bandwidth and things like that. It's quite high. We're not talking 20 people and it cuts out. It's up in the hundreds and hundreds of people that can be in live. One of the things that people aren't aware of, though, is especially with a webcast, is you don't have to watch it there and then. So the big plus with the webcast is if you've got family who are abroad or friends that are abroad, and we've got a service at 10 o'clock in the morning, and that means it's 4 o'clock in the morning where they're watching it, they don't have to get up and watch it live. Most of the time, this is then available for 7 days after the service. So people can log in at their own time and they can watch it. And the funeral director should share with the family the login details, the link, the PIN code to get in. But again, never any payment requirement for doing that.
Yeah. And often, if there is to be a webcast, then the officiant or the celebrant will include the people who are, joining via the ether in some way. So welcoming everyone here in the room and everyone elsewhere joining us via the webcast might be something they'd say. And if there was an element like a candle lighting, everyone would be invited to join, including those who were on the webcast. So it can make people feel a little bit included if they are, very far afield and they can't make it. Also, I've had people who've just had a health issue and just not been able to leave their home, and they've been able to join via a webcast even though they live close, and that's made all the difference to them. So they can come in really, really useful.
Yeah, included is absolutely right, because it can just open the doors to so many more people feeling a part of it that might well be very, very disappointed that they can't make it. For a lot of people, travel can be an issue, and we are a generation now that do spread our wings and sort of disappear across the different parts of the world. And yeah, I think being able to have the service available to those people, no matter where they are, is really important. Something we personally do is on a service, if we've got a much loved page, we can upload an order of service PDF to that. And I make that link available to people as well, so that they can follow along with the order of service, which is quite a nice touch, I think, personally. But blow my own trumpet, of course. But it's again, it's making people feel included and feel like they are there, even though they're not there in person.
Yeah. And nice for the family too, because sometimes you can say, and so and so's family from Australia are joining in the webcast later. And just that comforts the family to know that they also have been able to reach out to those who are far and wide. And yeah, no, I love that touch of sending the order of service. I think that's really lovely. And so sometimes I've done 2 events recently where they weren't in formal chapels. One was in a manor house, which is a council building, and another was in a village hall. And the folks in the village hall wanted the service recorded. What we did in that instance was that they had a videographer just set up a phone on a stand and basically record the service as it played through, really.
Yeah.
But people would not have been able to access that until afterwards. In another situation, I have opened a kind of FaceTime, WhatsApp sort of thing, and I've just had it sitting on the place near the place where I'm speaking from, to allow a couple to join who couldn't join in person in a situation where there wasn't a webcast. So if there isn't a formal webcast facility, do ask about other options, because we can be creative.
Yeah, and there are companies out there. So if you're at graveside, for instance, you may think, well, actually, it means I can't have that. Well, you can. We can get people in that create their own live streams and can broadcast that. They'll create a secure login page again, much like the others, that you can get access to and watch live from wherever it might be. These things obviously come at a cost, but nothing is impossible from technology being as good as it is now. Like Tina said, it can be as simple as um, a phone recording in the corner or a Zoom call that like people can join into and see. There are absolutely ways and means, and I think it's worth saying that those options are not limited to a crematorium chapel, just like Tina mentioned.
Yeah. And then just one other thing to mention, which is a bit of kind of funeral etiquette, and maybe Si and I might do an episode just about that in the future. But there was a trend trending a couple of years ago, where people were posting what they were wearing to a funeral, young people particularly. So this is my funeral outfit I'm wearing. And also would post a bit of what was happening in the chapel that they'd privately recorded on their phone. And on one occasion, it really upset the family. So just be mindful. If you have not been given any formal permission to record something, do not be getting your phone out and recording it.
Yeah.
And definitely do not please be posting it, because it wouldn't feel appropriate to the family for you to do that. So yeah, I was surprised to come across that, but I just thought it was worth a mention.
Yeah, and if we don't mention things like that, people don't know, and that's the point of this podcast ultimately, is to educate and inform. But yeah, I think no matter where you are, you can absolutely have a service broadcast. It doesn't have to just be live; it can be available whenever. Don't ever be fooled into paying to watch that. Obviously, the family will pay to have it to facilitate it, but you never have to pay to log in to watch a webcast.
No.
That's just not a thing. So don't click on links that want you to pay for that.
Thanks for sharing that, Si. Really important. So there we have a little bite size about webcasts and recording at funerals. We hope it was helpful.
Take care, all. Thanks for joining us.
See you again soon.
You've been listening to Good Goobyes, the Funeral Facts podcast. Please do like, subscribe, comment, and share. Drop any questions on our social media, on Instagram, or in the text option in the show notes.
Si and I are qualified professionals, but we always advise our clients to seek any additional support from medical practitioners if they need to. And we hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay well and be kind to one another.